Welcome back, guys, to Phoenix Wright Destinies, where so much happened. Last episode is now Miles Edgeworth joins us to investigate the case of 7 years back, a retrial that is coming forth in about an hour's time, supposedly, in real time within the game, because of course, Aura Blackwell has taken people hostage with a robot army, including Trucy Wright. The trial, the convicted Blackwell, is going to court. Will this be all we need for an investigation? Are we heading over to see Athena finally at the detention center? Well, I guess that's about it for this room. So what do you think, Wright? Any ideas? There's still a lot of gaps in the evidence, but I'll pull it off somehow. After all, you asked me to prove Blackwell's innocence, right, Edgeworth? What? He did? Yep. He called it a special request. He reached out to me while I was still disbarred. So they've been working together for a long time towards this? So that was what sparked you to get your attorney's badge back? Yep, the Blackwell case. Right, I have a special request. I want you to clear one of my subordinates of suspicion. Hey, I'm not even a lawyer anymore, remember? Haven't been one for a long time. That 8-year misunderstanding has been cleared up, and you must be eager to return. I'm sure you're familiar with the other case that ushered in the dark age of the law. Very soon, a convict will stand as a prosecutor in court. I want you to keep an eye on him. Just when I'm beginning to actually like the job I have now. Yeah, right. Right. I'm sorry I dragged you into this. Because of the espionage aspect, I wasn't free to give you all the details. Hey, no need to apologize. It's like I said on the phone the other day. I know the type of criminals you're after now aren't small fries anymore. It looks like your target finally decided to make a move. Yeah, it's for this very reason I returned. Time to bring it to an end. I'm going to end the dark age of the law. That's what this is all about. Wow. The twosome teaming up to bring justice to all. The dark age of the law. It sure comes up a lot these days on TV and in the papers. And I hear there are more false charges and fabrication of evidence than ever. When I became Chief Prosecutor, the court system had already lost the people's trust. It all began 8 years ago. A lawyer was caught fabricating evidence, and a year after that, a prosecutor was found guilty of murder. Wait, do you mean? That's right. He's talking about my case, and Prosecutor Blackwell's. It was a downward spiral after that. An absolute nightmare. After those two cases, the mass media launched an all-out attack on the courts. Public opinion was tainted, and before long, the legal world itself was sucked into it. It's such a shame. Once suspicion forms, it's very hard to shake. The lawyers and prosecutors were supposed to trust each other, pursue the truth together. It's so sad when people begin to cast doubt. They start lying to themselves and each other. Yes, and do absolutely anything to win. We're in an age now where winning is valued far more than the truth. I'm sure it's caused our new Chief Prosecutor to lose many a night's rest. Is it just me, or did his brow get even more furrowed than last time I saw him? The hostage-taker's disdain for the course is a perfect example of the times. It sure is. Do you have any idea who the hostage-taker might be? Well, somebody who mistrusts the court system and who can manipulate robots. It could really only be Aura Blackwell. Who else but her would want a retrial of that case from 7 years ago so badly? Simon Blackwell's older sister and the owner of this room. I agree with your conclusion. Perhaps she intended to force Miss Cykes to confess. Actually, I think she had a much more horrific plan in mind for Athena. The important thing is for you to solve UR1 and prove Blackwell's innocence. And then maybe she'll release the hostages. I'm counting on you, Wright, to set that prosecutor and those hostages free. And I'll be counting on you in court to help me too. Of course, I'll do everything I can to help uncover the truth. As this isn't an official trial, I'm more at liberty to be a little unorthodox. Mr. Wright, are you finished with your investigation? Yeah, but I'd like to tell the hostage takers something from me. I have to go to the detention center. I can't start the trial until I've talked to Athena. She's already given her consent. I'll accompany you to the detention center. So I'm still being watched, huh? I'll see you in court, Edgeworth. Even if it will be an undocumented trial, it'll be good to face you in court again. And so, as they don't care about wins or losses, well, technically, Phoenix side, they care about a certain proof coming out. It's so nice to be able to think that a law system like this could really work. But it doesn't. It's so weird still. Why can't we be idealists too? As we head to see Athena. She was right by my side only a few short hours ago. But I feel like I haven't seen her in ages. Oh, Mr. Wright! And Pearly too! I knew you would come. After all, the first step is the interview with the defendant. And because you're my friend and I was worried about you. Thanks, boss. I'm not the only one who's worried either. Really? Who else? I saw Miss Woods today. She was so beside herself, she came to find me. She told me you used to live in the Cosmos Space Center. No wonder you knew so much about the place. Oh, so you know her. I'm sorry I didn't tell you. That's alright. But there are some other things I'd like to ask you. Sure, you can ask me anything. I promise I won't keep any more secrets from you. How could you, for starters, the one question I really want to ask is, how can you stand opposite in a court of law the person that you had thought had killed your mother? How could you do this? If you also didn't think the Blackwell was not guilty from the start. But something tells me they probably won't delve into this aspect of it. Or maybe she doesn't even know who killed. You know, but she's the defendant. She'd of course looked into it. Well, she's defendant. She is a defendant now. But she was a defense attorney. She'd have looked into it. It's so confusing how their interactions could not have betrayed more in the past. Though it did seem like she could get very triggered by him at certain points in time. Even though I hate that word. The day of the crime. Tell me about the day Clay was murdered. I was actually at the Space Center that day. In the Space Museum. Right where the culprit fled to? That's not good. I never could fully deal with what happened 7 years ago. But when I saw the center again during the news coverage of the HAT-2 launch, I thought maybe if I went there, things would be different this time. That must have taken a lot of courage to face your past like that. So I went to the Space Museum the evening before the explosions. This was before the launch pads had been switched. There was a sign that said closed for repairs and they wouldn't let anybody in. Yeah, the director couldn't very well switch the pads if there were people in there. But I snuck in anyway. Did you want to see that HAT-1 group photo? The one with your mother in it? I did. But what I really wanted to see was her jacket. That jacket on display. That was Dr. Cykes. So the HAT-1 exhibit has been updated in the court record. A newspaper clipping, a photo of the people involved with the launch, and the jacket worn by Dr. Cykes is in this picture. But I should have known it wouldn't be easy to get over such a traumatic experience. The second I saw that jacket, it all came rushing back to me. Everything around me went hazy and I couldn't see. I tried to get out of there somehow. But I guess I passed out. When I came to, I was in the passage behind the rocket. I was in the shadows where people couldn't really see me. Maybe you got confused and went the wrong way when you were trying to leave? How long do you think you were unconscious, Athena? I was out until about noon of the next day. I didn't even know about the explosions. When I woke up, nobody was around, so I just went out into boarding lounge number 2. My mind must have still been fuzzy, because my memory is vague after that. I don't remember how I got home. No memory, huh? This is gonna be tough. Which means... what if I'm the one who killed Clay? I think that's enough of that, Athena. Let's talk about something else. So, during the entire incident, she was unconscious in the Space Museum. Of course, I believe her. But will anybody else? So your mother's work, tell us more. What kind of research was Dr. Cykes, your mother, doing? Machines that could tell people's emotions by their tone of voice. And my special ability. Someday, when people travel to distant planets, their companions will be robots. So she said they had to be able to understand how their human companions felt. Wow! Robots can understand people! I was just a convenient subject for her research. All she ever did was work, and she never paid any attention to me. Oh, sorry about that. Dredging up all that old stuff. No need to apologise. I guess her home life was... complicated. Oh, by the way, Miss Wood said something about you always wearing headphones. She always wore these big, heavy-looking headphones. She said her mother made them for her, as part of her research. I had to wear them every time I went out. Oh, I hated them so much, but she wouldn't listen. What were they for? Oh, she gave me some kind of explanation. But I don't remember now. It was too difficult for a little kid to understand. Okay, but let me say this one thing. I don't think your mother only thought of you as some handy subject for her research. I want to believe that. But just about the only things my mother left me with are widget. And this earring. Oh, it's beautiful. It's made of a piece of real moon rock she had for research. Maybe she did love me, in her own way. I'm sure of it. I'm really sure she did. Because that's what I want to believe too. So the moonrock earring has been added to the court record. I better ask her a little more about her mother's research. I should show her that paper I found in the robotics lab. Okay, what paper are we talking about here? The one that was given to me by Edgeworth? The Robots with Heart explains the features of the Ponko series of robots. Can also recognize a person by facial features once the face has been registered. That bit wasn't said at the time that we got this. However, or the recognize people by scanning their spacesuit or uniform jacket ID tag, which is why it thinks Apollo's Clay. There was definitely things that weren't said at that time that seemed to possibly be incredibly important. So because Apollo's face hasn't been registered, it's scanning the uniform ID tag instead and noticing injuries, so checking the emotions on Apollo? Is that what's going on there? So that also means that if someone can't see the face, or if someone's face is obscured, it would go and defer to the coat, the ID, which means you can easily fake being someone in front of these robots. Maybe. Will that be something? It depends if they don't do both at once. It seems a bit lacking if they don't do both at once. Oh yeah, I was supposed to present it rather than look at it and go, ha. Oh, the Ponko series. You must have gone to the robotics lab. You seem to really love Ponko and Klonko. Yeah, my mother made them and I grew up around them, you know. Kind of like siblings then, I guess. Oh, there's one of those cute little robots in this photo too. Haha, see Ponko's bandages? I put those on her. I just wound them around and around. Pretty bad job, huh? But I really put my all into it. I hardly left the center in those days, so I didn't have any human friends besides Junie. I didn't really understand the difference between robots and people back then. I thought that if a robot broke, bandaging it would help it get better. What a weirdo I was. It looks like there's something written on the bandages. Yeah, I wrote stuff like, "Get well soon, Ponko." But in the end, my mum just put her on the operating table and fixed her in a flash. Oh, that must be the thing I made move in the robotics lab. I was so impressed by what my mum did. I even asked her if she would put me on the table and fix me if I ever got hurt. It looked just like magic to me what she could do. A little girl who grew up around robots. She seems to have some good memories of it. So 7 years ago. On a different subject, did you hear about the person holding up the Space Center? Yes, a little. And this person has even taken hostages? I guess I'd better spare the news about Trucy. Well, after some negotiating, we agreed to do a retrial of the case from 7 years ago. What? You're kidding me! So that means Prosecutor Blackwell might... Yep, I know he's innocent. I just have to prove it. So wait, did you know him back then? Yes, he used to come visit my mum a lot. He studied psychology under and would sometimes ask for advice on his legal cases. He was very kind and considerate and straight as an arrow. Unlike now, where he's more twisted than a basket of snakes. That's why I took the witness stand during his trial 7 years ago. You were on side, weren't you? Please, you have to listen to me! He didn't kill her! His heart is screaming that he didn't kill her! I was a fool. How could anybody else know what I was talking about? She heard the voice of his heart. Which means we need to have her in court tomorrow. If that's the only way we can get into the secrets that he holds. Or the only way to get him to say that he didn't do it. You were only 11 then, right? You were very brave just to give testimony. Pulse is right. You did the very best you could at the time. But nothing I said did any good. I was a shaking and scared little girl. Small and ineffectual. Even after I went to live with my relatives in Europe, I stayed closed up in my shell. But you're different now. You're always so bright and cheerful. Thanks. Well, that's because one day I came to realize that I had to fight. I couldn't give up. I exercised hard and I studied hard. I wanted to become the strongest lawyer I could be. Why you became a lawyer, Athena? I wanted to save Simon, but I had no idea how. Then I met Mr. Wright, and thanks to him, I realized that if I became a lawyer, I could prove that Simon was innocent. I also realized that psychology could help me do this. I mean, psychology was my mother's speciality. When I studied it, I felt like she was there with me, supporting me. It doesn't seem like Athena knows that Prosecutor Blackwell is due to be executed tomorrow. I wanted to prove Simon's innocence personally. I wanted to do it so bad. Even now, I want to fly out of here and go save him. Come to think of it, she said something like that during the Themis Legal Academy trial. She mentioned there was somebody she wanted to save. She must have been talking about Prosecutor Blackwell. I heard some prison guards say that you had an interview with Simon. How was he? What did he say? No, I can't tell her. But how can I lie to Athena? He was doing well. He was happy about the possibility of being proven innocent. He was? I wonder if he smiled, like he used to, back then. If I can't prove Prosecutor Blackwell's innocence in this trial, I don't think Athena will ever forgive me. I just have to free him. Failure is not an option here. I thought you might be here, Mr. Lawyer. We're in trouble. But we are? What is it? I couldn't find a single open courtroom. They're all in session. Oh no, but this is an emergency. It's very difficult to interrupt a trial once it's underway. Well, I can think of one courtroom. My phone is from Trucy. I told you I'd give you 1 hour. I guess it's time to pick one of the hostages. No, wait. We still have a little more time. Besides, all of the courtrooms are being used right now. Make all the excuses you want, but you won't get more time. Your daughter is first. The poor thing. She's a little too young to die, don't you think? No, don't you dare hurt her. There has to be something I can do. The cruelest injustice is about to befall us. No, this can't be happening. Mystic Mayor, help us. Wait a minute. Mayor? I read somewhere that you were holding a trial in the middle of an exploding courtroom. That must have really been something. Although weird is par for the course with you. A courtroom. Blew up. That's it. There is a courtroom we can use after all. Okay, time's up. Too bad. Any last words you'd like to say to her? Hold it! Aura, please don't add to the crimes you've already committed. So you know who I am, do you? It wasn't like I was trying to keep it a secret anyway. We're ready to start the trial. We can hold it in the ruins of courtroom number 4. The one blown up by the bomber. Oh, what a wonderful idea, Mr. Nick. I never would have thought of that. An astonishing trial in an astonishing location. I guess it's only befitting. I'll go get the place ready right away. I didn't exactly pick the place for its astonishing factor. How about it? Are you ready to have your brother's innocence proven? My brother? Oh, I'm sorry. Did I forget to mention? It's not Simon you'll be defending. What? Not Prosecutor Blackwell? I indict Athena Cykes on the charge of murdering her own mother. You'll be defending the little princess there, the one behind the glass. What? It's you and that mountain of rubble you've chosen for our courtroom, Mr. Wright. What is she talking about? Athena? Of course. Why didn't it ever occur to me before? If Prosecutor Blackwell is innocent, somebody else had to have been the true culprit. Did I kill my own mother? No. No! Oh. No way! It can't be true! Mr. Nick, what's the matter? I see 5 black Psyche-Locks. I've seen these kind of locks before. Dark, black locks protecting a secret hidden deep inside a person's heart. And there's no way to remove them.